everyone. This is John Rollins, and we're here today for our weekly S.T.R.I.V.E session. S.T.R.I.V.E, strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. I trust that you've had a great week and that you are excited about how 2021 has begun for you. And I hope that what you've experienced up to this point is just the beginning of what will turn out for you to be a great year. I want to encourage you to, I want to continue to encourage you, so many others do, actually to be careful out there, because I just recently saw that the predictions now is that we will be somewhere in the neighborhood of over 500,000 deaths before February is over. And so I just want to encourage you to be careful. I know that you probably are, and just make sure that you love on your family members, your friends, those people who are close to you. Hey, so S.T.R.I.V.E, strategies to remain informed, victorious, and empowered. And today our topic is X-ray vision. X-ray vision. And let's begin by going back to the scriptures. How many of you remember the story when God instructed the prophet Samuel to go to Jesse's house? And Jesse is the father of David. God instructed Samuel to go to Jesse's house because God had selected another person to replace King Saul as the next king of Israel. If you're familiar with the story, and I believe many of you are, Samuel asked Jesse to bring his sons before him so that he could identify the next one to serve as kings. And so one by one, Jesse lined his sons up, beginning with the oldest, and he paraded them in front of Samuel. Each time Jesse brought one of his sons, God rejected him. God says, I mean, you can imagine kind of a game show. And behind door number 3 is, Anyway, well, God's justification was that inwardly, each of the boys that Jesse brought before him, each one of them was missing something that was necessary if they were going to serve in the position of leadership, or specifically servant leadership. God's explanation, though, was that although the outward appearance seemed impressive, the inward characteristics, the heart of the individual was missing, or there was a critical element that was absent. And he didn't necessarily go into detail about what it was that the individuals possessed. The scriptures give us some insight on some of the sons, but God did it. God just said, and the scriptures record a conversation like this. But the Lord said to Samuel, this is from Kings, the book of Kings. Actually, this is from the book of Samuel. So it's in both of them. But he says, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at the appearance or his physical stature, because I refuse him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. In other words, God was able to see straight through the individual to examine the content of each one of their characters. God has X-ray vision. God is able to see beyond what we put out for the world to see. And he's able to look inside and see who we are. Now, I don't know if any of you were like me as a child, but I was fascinated with the idea of owning X-ray glasses. All of the secret agents had X-ray glasses. They had their own set of gadgets and things that they could use that would give them, allow them to be able to perform some supernatural feats. All the superheroes were able to look through walls, and they were able to spot the bad guys. So I wanted X-ray glasses. I also wanted to be able to fly. That's a whole different story for a different time. But my point is, I wanted to be able to go beyond the natural, even as a child, to kind of delve into, to peer into the supernatural. I think And even at that time, I knew that there was something beyond what we projected, what we saw. Okay, and I'm not saying that I was some deep child, but there was something inside of me that said, what else is there what else is there going on? Okay, in my book, The P Attitudes, Keys to Prosperity and Success, one of the chapters that I talk about is perfection. And I quote from the chapter, it says, for decades, plastic surgery has been viewed as the method of choice in the pursuit of the perfect size, the perfect face, the perfect body, the perfect complexion. It is unfortunate that so many people feel the need to be different than who they were created to be in order to be accepted by others. It goes on to say, I've heard of stories of patients dying on the operating table because they wanted a different body and they were willing to risk everything in pursuit of that perfect look. Surely, I'm not suggesting that there aren't other factors involved in making these decisions, but I'm curious to know how many times pressure from other people or outside sources influence the final verdict. Okay, and that's the end of the quote. I did some research, and according to what I discovered, and this is from Statista.com, the cosmetic industry in the United States for 2019 was estimated at nearly $50 billion. $50 billion. Insider Report, okay, and again, this was from the internet. Insider Report projected the industry to be valued at over $532 billion. I'm assuming this is on a global level. $532 billion is the estimated value of the cosmetic industry. Okay, people spend a lot of money covering up or seeking to enhance their external traits. Okay, and if we're being totally honest, a few weeks ago, I was in the store looking for something to help me get rid of some of, not all of it, but I want to get rid of some of this gray up here on the top of my head. So I want to be clear. I'm not making a statement of judgment regarding the thoughts and actions of those individuals who want to clean, cover, paint the outside of the building. Because I too, that was a thought of mine. But if all we do is dress up the outside, we go out and we pressure wash, we repaint, we clean around and do landscaping, we do a lot of work to make the outside look better. But if we don't clean the counters, we don't clean the floors, we don't clean the walls, the sinks, the tubs, are we really adding any value to the building? If all of our focus is on external repairs, but we got holes in the walls, the plumbing is insufficient, and the electricity can't carry the load. If we give no attention to the things that are taking place internally, those individuals who reside at that location, they're still going to have difficulties living there, inhabiting that structure. So let's go one step further. Let's completely renovate and upgrade the building. Okay, we make the investment to gut it out room by room, and then we rebuild it. Okay, you see all these flip the houses shows, and we see all those repair and move in. We can throw away all the old furniture. We can replace it with the most expensive, the most comfortable lounging accommodations possible. We can go out and search and get our reviews, and we can hire the best known designer available to come and create a showroom living environment. Okay. But if there's no effort devoted to deal with the occupants of the home, I'm confident that the house will not be a home. And depending on the character of the individuals, all the work that you did to try to get it up to whatever standard you had set for yourself, depending on the character of the individuals, it may not be long before that house is soon back in an uninhabitable state. Okay? I was reading this morning in my devotional, and Sarah Young, she has a devotional called Jesus is Calling, and this is how she explained it. She said, it's easy to touch up your outward appearance, to look as if you have it all together. Your attempts to look good can fool most people. But I, God, see straight through you into the depths of your being. There is no place for pretense in your relationship with me. Rejoice in the relief of being fully understood. In other words, God says, I get you. I get who you are. Okay. He says, talk with me about your struggles. Talk with me about your feelings of inadequacy. And little by little, I will transform your weaknesses into strengths. I don't know about you, but for some people, the knowledge that God has X-ray vision and is able to see past our beautified and our renovated exteriors, it makes some people really uncomfortable. They may feel that if enough attention is directed to how they look, people will not focus so much on who they are. But God doesn't operate like that. And He is not fooled by our efforts to accentuate certain external characteristics and try to conceal other traits. God, He says, I get it. I know you. I'm intimately aware, familiar with who you are. And truth be told, and you think about this, and you probably have experienced it to some level, there are many people who are able to see beyond the facade. I remember hearing somebody say, you're not fooling anybody but yourself. So once again, please understand that I'm not suggesting that we should not put forth effort, time, and energy into our personal external enhancements. Okay. If you ask me what my thought is, my statement is, you do you. Okay. However, if I can offer a suggestion, a thoughtful consideration, I think it would be a good idea to work on the inner person, to work on our interior, to work on who we are. Okay. Yes, give attention to how we look. Okay. But give some attention to who you are, your character. After all, if our heart and our actions are going to, if, let me say this, and what I understand from the scriptures, it says that it will be. If our heart and our actions are going to be judged, and since God already has X-ray vision based on what He said about the oldest son, He says that outward appearance is one thing, okay, but the heart is something different. If our hearts, our motives, our intentions, our who we are is going to be judged, then it seems like that's where we should be devoting our time, our effort, our energy, trying to upgrade that. Okay. We might as well be real with God because He already sees it. We can be real with Him, and then we can be real with ourselves. And look, I'm wrapping this up. Okay. There should be no expectation of perfection, internally or externally. But I strongly encourage that we give time, energy, effort, attention to progressing. Us, we can be better tomorrow than we are today. We can make better decisions. We can behave differently, better by working on and giving, being committed to becoming a better person. Okay, and then I believe that if we've given so much attention to who we are, people will care a little less about how we look. That's just my thought. It's just my opinion. I can't validate it with research, but my experience is that people want someone who will make them feel good about who they are. And the individuals who do that, you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to have certain things. You just are who you are. I think it was Maya Angelou said, people may not, or they may forget what you say, but they won't forget how you made them feel. Okay, look into our hearts. God already sees it, and make sure that our hearts are good. All right, hope that made some sense, guys. This is John. This is the S.T.R.I.V.E session. Strategies to remain informed, strategies to remain victorious, strategies to remain empowered. And I close the way that I love to close. If it's been a week since we were together, if you've not had someone to come into your life and to affirm your greatness, to remind you of just how wonderful you are, how awesome you are, how you are the package, allow me to do so. I want to affirm your greatness. I want to remind you that today, tomorrow, and forever, okay, you are important. All right. You all be blessed. Hopefully we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.